Okay, so here we are, 2947 13th Avenue in Rock Island. I'm going to pan around the street a little bit so you can get kind of an idea of, here's the next door neighbor. There's a bar down on the end there. That's Killigan's Pub, I believe it is, but that would be a college watering hole. It's not too far. It's within 8 blocks of Augustana College, so I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing. I think the proximity would be helpful for an investor as far as that goes. I'm just going to take you for a bit of a walk down here. We have a brick street that's extremely bumpy, and that is a good thing, believe it or not, because people have to go slow or they'll tear their vehicles up. You can see that this house is right up against the lot line, because this pole probably is establishing the lot line on the west side. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. Now, I can't get a good look at the roof overall, but I can tell you this is aluminum siding. And we're going to get a little closer here in a sec so I can show you a couple of things. But the roof actually looks pretty good. The shingles are laying flat, and I can't really tell from here just how good they are, but I can tell you that the flashing up by the fireplace is all newer looking, so that would indicate that they probably reflashed that chimney when they replaced the roof, would be my thought. I do not like that tree growing up against the foundation there, and I'll show you, have a little more detail for you on that. Now, as I'm looking at the front exterior here, the part that's coming out here, and I'm not assuming that you know anything, so please don't take offense if I get too particular here. But this part that's hanging over is called a soffit, and then you can see where this is eaten away in here, and some of the siding has come off. So that's kind of a negative thing. And then the other thing is on this porch here, you'll note these steps are in not very good shape. They used the wrong kind of material to deck this porch. And the decking on it, this should all be replaced. And what they did is they took a shortcut. Now the other thing is, here we've got the original wood siding, and then remember we talked about car side. Actually, the car side ceiling on this one is a lot better, but there's still a lot of peeling paint. And a lot of it's lead-based paint. Some of it is peeling here and all along these beams here along the way. So I'm just going to take a peek on the other side here, just to see what we can see here. Here we have the electrical, 2947 13th Avenue, 2947 and a half 13th Avenue. And that is all coming from the street on that pole where we saw the 2947. I can see that white pipe sticking out there. That would indicate that possibly this is a newer high efficiency furnace. They've got some weed, I call this a big old weed here, growing along here. That's never good for a house. And the soffits, they had covered them with aluminum at one point, but they're kind of rotted now. And you may not be able to see that very good on the video. But this is all vinyl siding. It's probably covering a lot of lead-based paint. That the term we'd have for it is it's encapsulated now because it's covered by aluminum siding. Now, I would tell you that this tree is a huge problem because it's hanging over. Big tree, and big enough to the point where it's had an impact on this sidewalk. From a liability standpoint, that would be a concern. And you can see that they can't hardly grow anything under it. Here's tree roots right here, probably from that tree. And let's see what else here. This would all need to be redone in my mind, just from a liability standpoint more than anything else, both for my tenants and anybody walking along the house. We do have a downspout here, but as you can see, the gutter is defective anyway. Let's walk through here. Now, here's the thing. I think this is probably another furnace right here. And that could be, and it's telling me that that could also be a high efficiency furnace. Here we have our gas supply. These are all look relatively recently replaced. I don't know if they've got a date on them or not. I don't see any dates. And that's what I'm looking at right here. And I don't see any dates. Got a bunch of debris down here, and then the dryer looks like there's a dryer thing down there. It really ought to be covered, truth be known. Now this is covered with shingles, and I think maybe this may have extended out. This has been framed around here, so I don't know what's underneath here, but my feeling is it probably is a hole, probably some kind of access to the basement or whatever, or some kind of cavity underneath, which is kind of a concern. And again, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is never good. This tree growing up like that right there, this thing needs to be taken out. And then of course, these they never work very well because it's hard on the roofs and everything else here. This tree is kind of taken over also. And then we have, you can see back here, the terrain. And what we've got is, you see how it's on a downward slope. It's sloping down to this particular area down here. And that's a concern to me, because that grade area ought to be brought up, probably up to within 6 inches of the underside of that siding there. Just to be on the safe side. These are kind of they're kind of in they're in a hole is what they're in. You get heavy duty rain, nothing can dry here. You can see the mildew, nothing ever dries here. You have aluminum combination storms on here. All the windows are older windows, and they're probably at the end of their useful lives. Now, I did see a date on this one central air unit. They're both Trane central air units. I'll show you that one, and this is 2019 on this one. The other one, it was faded out. I couldn't tell what the age was or anything like that. But here's another Trane here. And then we'll kind of walk over here. And again, same problem we've got is on the other side. Lordy sakes, that is just terrible on a foundation. And you can see right now, this entire corner here has been compromised. And this is not getting any better. You can see how it's kind of broken away here. I don't know what they had here. There's nothing that can dry here. Not when you've got this tree covering this like this. This is extremely hard on a house. And again, on the other side, we've got the same thing as we had on the other side. And that's this thing here. And then we've got a piece of basement window that came out, and that came out right here. It's boarded up right now. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. And you can see where it's boarded up, and there's the glass sitting there. So this is really a concern, and I've already walked upstairs, and I'm telling you, this thing is not level at all. Now, with that being said, I like this lot. It's 50 by 125. That's a nice sized lot. It's not under 40 feet frontage, it's 50 foot, so that's a plus. And then we're walking out here towards the alley. And what I like is the open area back here. this feels pretty good overall. Now there could be some noise there with the bars, especially with colleges close by, but you're probably going to have college students living in something like this. But boy, this needs a lot of work just on the exterior here. And jeepers, this one tree, boy, I'd want to take that out also. So that's just me. But with that, we're going to go into the next 2 units here. Thanks.